God always takes note of what nations are doing. Even here in America, He sees our immorality and our filth. He sees how night after night people download movies that are filled with explicit sexual scenes. He sees our abortion mills. He sees our redefinition of marriage. He sees our willingness to accept and normalize fornication and adultery. He sees our willingness to accept homosexuality and transgenderism. And they tell me now there's some 100 genders when God says there's only 2. Every now and then somebody says, well, why doesn't God do something? God is doing something. He is giving people more opportunity to respond, but there's coming a day, probably sooner than most of us realize, when the dam of God's grace and mercy will break to His wrath.